Everybody in the whole wide world is happier than you. Just look around, why don't you, and see that it's all true. Wait over there, up on the rail, that glowing stare with that swishy little tail, spread akimbo in a sunbeam. Hello, sir, could you be? Yes, goodness gracious, such a good kitty. Goodness gracious me. He's got little paws and claws and everything's so pretty. You've gotta see to believe. Yeah, goodness gracious, such a good kitty. Goodness gracious me. He's got little paws and claws and everything's so pretty. You've gotta see to believe. Yeah, goodness gracious, such a good kitty. Goodness gracious me. He's got little paws and claws and everything's so pretty. You've gotta see. Hello, so in the last video I talked about making this shot, and I was not particularly happy with it. There's a lot I did like about it, but once we got to this bit, it was just this big mess of stuff, and there wasn't particularly composition. This just felt like a big pile of greebles, like this pipe. Nothing felt particularly designed, and it was just bugging me. So I did a final pass, and most of what that entailed was just swapping out different HDRIs so I could get a different feeling to it. Like when you have a good HDRI going, it colors the sky, and so it's almost like a built-in, normal map. Like, it's really easy for your brain to get a lay of the land, and having that high contrast sunlight contrasted with a bit of the blue on the upwards facing faces helped quite a bit. I worked on, you probably can't even tell, but I worked a bunch on just trying to add some intention to some of these buildings so they felt actually built there instead of just like a random thing dropped in. And I added this little bit in the background, which connects to the previous shot in the sequence. So I'm feeling good about that. But then I wanted to go to a smaller scale shot. So I made this shot right here, nice and small, and I got to really play around with setting up my moss and just a little UV unwrapping and things like that. It's fun to be able to jump into a smaller scale sometimes. And obviously the first thing you noticed in this shot was the little cats. No, it was the rain on the windows. But I didn't make the rain. That's the shader I bought from Alex Haskett for like $2 on his Gumroad, and it totally makes the shot. Look at it, it feels good. But no, imagine if the first thing you saw were the cats, because then the following tutorial would be much more apt, because that's what we're doing today. Okay, so I've added the flowers, but it's still He's a frog on the town, and he doesn't need to apologize for anything. I'm redoing it because while I like jokes, I don't want the joke to be, look at how bad these animals are that we made. So let's see if we can do a good one. And also, I'm distracted today because, can you see out there? You can't. Maybe you can a little bit. It's the first snow of the season, and I reserve the right to be excited about that. So what I like about this is that I don't know how to do animals, and I don't know sculpting really. But you combine them with a nice glossy shader, and suddenly it looks like a little figurine. And so I'm thinking these things are fun to put in like vending machines or next to cash registers or on the dashboard of like a car or a spaceship or something, and just something to give a little personality, while also trying to work on my non-existent sculpting skills. So let's jump in. Let's try doing a cat. I feel like cats are kind of liquid and amorphous, and so if you get something wrong, maybe it's just a messed up cat. So do we want to do like a cat that's laying here and its head's up and it's got its paws out, because cats do that sometimes? We could do like a stretching cat. We could do another sitting cat, but I already did that one, and so I kind of want to do a different shape of cat. Okay, we're going to use reference, so I'm just going to drag this picture in here. If you just drag a picture in from a file browser, it imports as this bizarre just photo. This isn't an image as a plane. You can't edit it or anything. It just exists exactly like this, and you can use it as reference. This is by Zanely on Unsplash, and we're just going to try to model that out of cubes. There isn't a lot going on here, so I feel pretty confident that we can kind of do it okay. So this will be... Yeah, this will be kind of the hip area here. And I want to make sure it has a nice solid base. This is supposed to be like a toy or something. Alright, let's get that tail going around. I feel like the tail's going to be doing a lot of work. Tail. Just kind of wrapping around here. And so we're just trying to block in the animal low poly. Uh-oh. Here, I'm going to turn on proportional editing. Change it to linear. Bring it up. And I'm just going to scroll up to expand the selection. Oh. I'm going to check connected only. And now it'll go along the vertice chain. And we can raise this up. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to tuck this in. And let's get some feet in there. I don't want to make the feet too detailed, but in fact, maybe we'll do the feet as kind of one individual chunk at first. Okay. This is looking a little cat-like. And here we'll do its cat head. All right. Oh. Some of these proportions are a little off here. But trust me, like, if we paint a cat face on this, it will still read as cattish. And that's why I have been enjoying doing this just over and over, because you don't have to be very good. I might just draw the ears in the sculpting stage. Have I mentioned there's going to be sculpting? Yes, I think I did. Alright, and here's its little cat feet. Okay, and this actually has certain resemblances to actual cats. So I'm gonna call that a win, and let's move on to the next stage, which is sculpting. First, I'm gonna tab into edit mode here. Here, let's turn on the screencast keys. I'm gonna select everything and right click and just subdivide a few times. Get some more geometry going. Maybe even one more time. Cool. Alright, now we clicked on sculpting. The reason I like going up here, normally I just set up the window however I want it, but I like clicking on the workspace tabs up here because they bring up all the tools you need. So if you're not familiar with the tools, this is a nice convenient way to make sure that they're all around. First, I'm going to make sure that mirroring, their symmetry, is off because sometimes it's on by default and then you have this other random point moving around. And I'm just going to, I don't know, maybe this isn't the best way to do this. I probably should have done this in the geometry stage. But I'm going to go to smooth and just start smoothing it out and see if it still looks like a cat. Hey, kind of, this one picture's getting in the way. Huh, down here looks a little, why doesn't that smooth out? Is it because, oh, my guess is I made, here, let me see, can I undo all this? Yes, I accidentally made an n-gon down here, and so it didn't know how to subdivide. So that's one thing. Normally I'm like, oh, who cares about topology or whatever. This is one of those cases where you do want to care because it subdivides based off of quads. So did that cut all the way through? Hey, it did. Okay, so now ideally everything's a quad, and that just means it has 4 faces. And it's possible in Blender to, like, get a bunch of points around a face and it'll just kind of blend them all together. But that doesn't work right with sculpting because sculpting, you're dealing a lot with the topology. But now if we select this, subdivide it, go back into the sculpting mode here, and smooth it, it should work a little bit better. Yeah. Okay. So, here is our cat. Right now, it's just pushing around the pre-existing geometry, but we can check Dinotopo, which is not short for Dinotopia. It's dynamic topology, and now if we go in here with draw, and we draw on his little kitty face, is that? Yeah. It'll actually add new geometry, which can be handy. Let's give him some little kitty ears. Okay. And what I have been liking about sculpting is every time you're like, I wish it could do this. There's always a brush over here. There's a lot of buttons. I don't even know what most of them do. If you're really into sculpting, you either probably already know how to sculpt, or you should go watch a better sculpting video. This one's just about how to make bad animals. Alright. That's okay. Like inflate. Here, where's inflate? Inflate. Let's inflate the tail. Uh-oh. So the dynamic topology is kind of based off of distance, which means if we go way back here, it'll be like, this is what you want, right? And we say, no, why would we want that? And I think it's kind of expecting you to just maintain a specific, distance from the model. So here it looks better. Yes. It's kind of honestly the one thing I don't like about the dynamic topology, because it starts to do... that looks bad. I'm going to overinflate it, and then I'm going to smooth it back down, I think. Ooh, nice and bulbous. Okay. Okay. It's actually looking alright. And go back into smooth. Turn the strength down. I think I've had the strength up too high for a lot of this. And can we fix that? I want to get this hip bit out. So let's see. Should we do that with drawing or just grabbing? Let's try just grabbing the existing stuff and pulling it out a bit. There we go. And I'm only really worrying about one side. I'm like, one side of this will face the camera. I guess we can kind of fill it in like that. There we go. And I'll try to smooth that out just a little bit. This bit's kind of weird. Let's inflate it. Cool. And where's crease? Crease. Now let's crease in a little leg section here between his kitty legs. Now that's looking straight. Reinflate. I spend a lot of time just inflating and smoothing. And there's probably something to be said for dialing in this geometry a little bit better before I started this whole process. But let's say that this is... let's say this is okay. And let's see what happens once we start to smooth everything out. So to start with... I'm going to go into object mode. I'm going to right click, shade smooth. And that already makes it look a little bit more like a ceramic deal here. I think I can delete this. But what's going to really sell it is coloring. So we're going to jump over and do texture painting. Excellent. And he's pink because currently there's no texture thing going on at all. But it pulls up automatically the tools here for the texture painting. To get in the texture painting mode normally, you just go into this menu, texture paint. Go into the tools. And up here at the top it says there's no textures. So we say, let's add one. A base color. Turn up the resolution here. Pick our base color for the cat. Let's do gray. Gray cat. Is that interesting? Maybe we'll do a little yellowish. I don't know. I should probably have been decisive there. Uncheck alpha because I don't know what it would do in this instance. And click OK. And there we go. It's colored it. But we have not yet unwrapped the cat. So this is going to be our texture over here, and this is going to be, you know, where we're doing the painting. So let's go into object mode, hit tab to go into edit mode. Here's all of our mesh. And actually, let's quickly clean this up because this is a lot of geometry. So I'm going to go into the modifiers here and just add a remesh one, and we can pick the voxel size. Let's see, 0.05, 0.2. Ooh, that's actually kind of interesting. Look at that; it even connects that. That's kind of interesting. Okay, yeah, let's apply that. Shade it smooth again, then we have our nice low poly cat. I guess this bit right here is a little bit funky up with the ears. I might get rid of that point. Okay, now going into texture painting, I'm going to tab into edit mode, hit A to select everything, hit U to bring up the unwrapping menu, and just click Smart UV Project, and I'll just keep those settings. And now it's arranged kind of awkwardly. I feel like it maybe could have used this space better. But the UVs on the texture here. And if we go back into object mode and start painting, you can see it's painting on the UVs right here. And it's got this convenient UV overlay so you can see what's going on. But we don't even need this because we just get to paint right on the cat now. So let's see. Let's start with, I don't want to overthink it, really. I want to keep it nice and simple, as if whoever painted this had to paint like 10 bazillion of these every day. So let's kind of add a little bit under his nose here. Cute. A little in his ears. I should probably look at a picture of a real cat. I have some cat experience in my life, but some stripes on the back. Cats do have stripes sometimes. Okay, alright. Pink nose. Let's change this to pink. See, texture painting is one of those things where I love when you can just draw right on a model and do what you want. Always feels very kind of tactile, you know. I'm gonna make it dark. Give him that cat mouth. Turn the radius way down. I don't know, would whiskers be too much? No, they would not. Alright, let's give him some sleepy kitty eyes. Cool. Can outline the ear, maybe. How's that look? Hey, that already looks like a cat! Okay, that is the best case scenario. Let's see, we should add a little bit to his tail here. Here, I'm gonna hit S to bring up an eyedropper and click on that to just grab. Uh-oh. So sometimes I don't understand, and I've Googled it, and other people have been kind of confused. When using the eyedropper, you can see it selects the right color up here, but then if I click, or if I don't know, sometimes it doesn't work. I'm like, why doesn't it work? And somebody said it's because you're adding it to the, see, I don't want to get on this other stuff, so I'm going to rotate my view. You're adding it to the easel or something like that? I don't know, I didn't understand really. Just clean this up. And this could be a nearly finished cat. Let's see, should we add some, we could add some just random other hairs. Oh yeah, get a little bit of that belly fuzz. Again, you should watch actual tutorials for this stuff. This is just if you happen to want to make a bad animal, this is how you do it. And I think even if we want to, we can go back into sculpt mode. In fact, let's try it. Let's try creasing this back up just a little bit. As long as we don't check the Dino Topo checkbox, it will just slide around the existing geometry and it won't get rid of the texture. But if you do check that box, suddenly it'll be like, whoa, well, you're creating new stuff. We don't know what color it is or anything like that. And so you're going to lose some of your color data. But this is looking okay. So the way to make it look like it's a figurine is to make it shiny. But before we do that, most important thing is first we should have saved the file, but we didn't, because that's okay. But we do want to save this image. So you can see if there's an asterisk next to this image, that means it's not saved yet. And a lot of times, the first time you close Blender, it'll ask you like, hey, do you want to save that texture you made? But it doesn't always. So let's just go image and save all images. And now we've got it. So I'm gonna put this on a big old ground plane. Currently, I think this cat is the size of a house in Blender units, which is cute. I'm going to go into the shader editor over here, and you can see when we, I'm going to hit A, wait, oh, select the cat, there we go. You can see when we set up in the texture painting, when we created that base texture, it actually hooked up the node automatically. Like this is the texture we made, and it's hooked into the base color, which is rad. I'm just going to turn down the roughness. And if we go into like Eevee, rendered view, you can see now he's all shiny. You can dial that in maybe till it looks just plastic or ceramic or something like that. And I don't even know if I particularly, there are no cats this color. So I'm gonna create a hue node here, turn up the saturation, and tweak this until we get, ooh, I kind of like pink cat. Oh yeah, pink cat. Oh yes. And now he's ready for you to put him somewhere fun. Or turn them into the Macy's parade blimps. That'd be fun.